What do I say? It's just staggering that this is happening. Less than one lifetime since we all know it last happened in Germany, that Jews are being basically persecuted, excluded from cultural events now. These people ought to think long and hard about their behaviour in cutting out Jews. And if they really want to pretend that this is about safety and security, they should do what responsible organisers of such events would do, which is consult the police and security and make sure there is no threat to safety and security. Because the lie about all of this is that the threat from having Jewish comedians in a festival of comedy would be to the audience. Well, that's the lie. The truth is the threat would be to the Jews, as we all know, because the mobs are increasingly turning on Jews because institutions and organisations like this are making it seem mainstream and fair and reasonable to do so. And this is how you watch a society turn against minorities. It's just a shame, as I said, for people like myself, the son of a Holocaust survivor, that I am seeing all this happen again in my lifetime.
I did an event, a fundraiser, last month or the month before with Simon Sebag Montefiore, who's someone you will probably know or certainly know of. And he mourned the fact that the great period for British Jews in this country has passed, that those days have gone and those face nothing but challenges going forward. How would you react to what Simon told me?
The late, great Abraham Levy, Rabbi Abraham Levy, who is not just my rabbi but also my godfather, he used to say that the United Kingdom has been good to the Jews and the Jews have been good to the United Kingdom. That is a symbiology, if the comedy club would like to talk of such things. And if all they have to say about this comedian whose work I was unfamiliar with, but I shall certainly go and look it up now and try to support him as best I can, if all they've got to say about him is that he is somehow dangerous because he showed solidarity with kidnapped Jews who were kidnapped during the worst attack on Jewish people since the Holocaust on any one given day, October the 7th, 2023, if what he has done to offend them and to risk the people coming to see his show and the staff in the club is call for the release of those hostages and call for peace so that there wouldn't be any more of this kind of violence coming from Palestinian terrorists, well, shame on them. I mean, shame on anybody who looks at these stories, whether it's students intimidated into feeling like they wish they weren't Jewish.
Well, I wanted to explore that with you. This is Abigail Wilson, just to remind my listeners, who was visiting the University of Bristol last month and was left, quotes, hysterically crying. And as you rightly said, Jonathan Sacerdoti, I've never felt so isolated. For the first time, I wished I wasn't Jewish.
I mean, what a terrible, horrible thing to hear someone say. I mean, to wish you're not Jewish because of anti-Jewish hatred and action taking place around you, especially in a context where it's really completely irrelevant to anything that's going on there. I just can't understand how the perpetrators of this racism against Jews can really look at themselves and think that they are virtuous. And that's the really sad part of all of this, is that these people that we see doing these things often couch it in terms of being virtuous, in terms of being good people, in terms of being on the so-called right side of history. If you can act this way, as I said, within living memory of the Holocaust, which is, you know, for those who have forgotten, the horrific genocide committed against the Jewish people, which saw over 6 million of them, of us, killed, slaughtered, gassed, industrial killing of Jews. These things start with societies and individuals and organizations turning against Jews or others in society, and then they build into something far worse. And that takes place through things like cultural institutions, then through police and the courts that don't act properly when they need to, when this sort of thing happens, and then politicians who don't stand up against it. So I hope that somewhere along that line, somebody will stand up and say and do the right thing.